Greetings and welcome to the fourth Bobzee hour. I'd like to start by saying hello to Maria and Midnight Scribbler in the live chat. Thanks for tuning in tonight. If anyone else is catching up with us and wants to wants to say hello in the live chat, it's always good to know you're there. We'll be getting started in a minute or two. Yeah, once again we're a bit late starting, so my apologies. I aimed for 9 PM, was a little bit behind, so we will be going for the next hour though. Okay, the title of this evening's video is, well, I've just called it the Bobzee Hour, but the thumbnail did suggest that we might be looking at how to identify liars. Hopefully that's not too misleading. Now, if it's anything like last week's Bobzee Hour, I barely even touched the actual subject of the thumbnail, which was about a refugee, an immigrant that attacked someone in the street. Perhaps we'll have a look at it tonight. We should have, yeah, we've got time. I'm just going to check things are playing back alright. 1 second. Yeah, audio seems to be working alright, connection seems to be strong, so we will we'll look to get going. As I say, we are going to start by talking about how you can, more about the identifying liars, who is necessarily lying, who isn't lying, who's just doing their job, as it were. That will certainly be something we touch upon this evening. And any telltale signs anyone's a liar, experience of dealing with liars, that is what we're going to look at this evening. However, I did just want to bring one kind of off that subject completely, so my apologies. We're going to have a look at we're going to look at a video I found on YouTube. Now, I originally came across this video, probably, I can't remember when it was. It is Elvis backstage on June 21st. 1977. Don't know if any of you are big Elvis fans. I appreciate the music, but it's not like I would say I worship the guy. Of course, we all can be, we can all fall victim to these people, and worshipping them is no exaggeration. People do idolize musicians, idolize Elvis Presley. Are they always as they appear? Because yeah, the reason I came to watch this video again, I saw the YouTuber Russian Vids, or well, he's now called They Live Truth. He put up a video about Elvis Presley. I'm sure it wouldn't be too difficult to find it. And I left a comment in his... I left a comment pointing him at this video of Elvis Presley, which I once saw someone had looked at. With the, we're not obviously going to watch it, I'm just going to, here we go, it was his latest one, Elvis, Flat Earth Clues in Plain Sight. I'll share a link to it if anyone wants to see it for themselves. Anyway, my comment is, great video, have you ever seen the footage of a child presenting Elvis with some Masonic apron in a studio? I got that bit wrong, it wasn't, it was some gift from a Sioux Native American people or something. We'll watch the video and you'll see it for yourself in a minute. I misheard it. My hearing is terrible. She actually says we'll catch it. She didn't say anything about Freemasons. I heard Freemasons. What she actually said was Sioux Nation or something. Anyway, this is a video I caught. I can't find it on YouTube now. It might still be out there, about how he gets almost glitches with his eyes and it looks like they're melting. Russian Vids. What would you say? He humoured me and said, oh yeah, send a link, I'll give it a look. But the thing is, I don't think this guy's eyes are genuinely melting. I do think something strange is going on in this clip, though. Before we proceed, I'll just look at the chat. Midnight Scribbler says Elvis lives. Check out Pastor Bob Joyce. I do agree. The guy, well, did the person portraying Elvis Presley really pass on whenever they claim he was? What year was it? 79? 70? I don't even know. But if this video is anything to go by, yeah, maybe things are not quite as they seem with Elvis Presley. Let's get on and watch it. But I have seen videos where people are saying, like, for example, the gardener is exactly the same. Interesting on that note, I once made a video about a woman who I said faked a pregnancy. Anyway, she was being interviewed and she said she had her lesbian marriage at the Neverland Ranch where Elvis lived, and she mentioned a gardener that just welcomed himself to the occasion, which I called out as being absolute crap. But I just thought it was interesting that someone else had suggested the gardener at Neverland Ranch looks a lot like Elvis. And the gardener at Neverland Ranch got mentioned by this particular celebrity. So, who knows? I doubt. Just like all mainstream media, the official story is probably nothing as we might believe it is. Oh, Mudlark digging up the Thames. Greetings, good to see you in the chat. Funny how many famous musicians die young. That is very true. You've got the 27's a big, a very popular age for people to pass on. I believe Jimi Hendrix, that English singer, what was her name? They tried to make me go to rehab. I can't even think of her name now. Kurt Cobain. I'm sure there's plenty of other 27-year-olds that passed on. But yeah, these stories all seem to play out in a very similar way in a lot of cases. Anyway, this is the video of Elvis. We will put the audio on because this is what I misheard. She says a pendant of life presented by the Sioux Nations, and I thought she said by the Freemasons, but anyway, yeah, my hearing is terrible.
Monique Brave from the Sioux Indian tribe here in Rapid City, and Mayor LaCroix, who's got a presentation for you also.
Elvis, on behalf of the citizens of Rapid City and the community, welcome to Rapid.
Right, at this point, look at Elvis's eyes. The guy who originally made the video, the video I saw about this, I will leave a link to this one in the chat. It was in black and white, the one I originally saw. It looks like they've added colour to it. So, yeah, by no means am I discovering this for the first time. He seemed to think his eyes were falling off. Have a look for yourself. Is it just absolutely terrible image quality? Here, there appears to be an eye there. Okay. Whereas the original eye is here. Or alternatively, is this his eyes just here, and he's got some sort of black makeup under, I don't know. It's not. We'll carry on watching and we'll just see what happens and how the rest of the presentation unfolds.
City, and we appreciate you being our first concert in our new auditorium, and this says so on our plaque. It's for your grand opening concert here. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you. Very nice.
And Monique?
Is she pretty? Hi, Monique.
Hi. This is a medallion of life for you, Elvis, from the Sioux Nation.
See, I thought she said from the Freemasons. She doesn't. She said from the Sioux Nation. But anyway, look at Elvis's eyes now. I mean, what's going on there? We'll skip back just a tiny bit. I know, obviously, there's a lot of shadow going on in this.
Of life for you.
Again, this weird blackness around his eyes. I'll zoom in, that might help you see it a bit better, hopefully. Jeff Gashead, greetings, good to see you in the chat. Thanks for joining us tonight. Mudlark says they all look older than 27. Possibly. Amy Winehouse, of course, is the person I was trying to remember. The singer, there's been loads of them. Right.
You, Elvis, from the Sioux Nation.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you.
Were even back then, I mean, it's interesting how this child just constantly stares at Elvis, almost like she's looking at a circus performer or something. She starts to look concerned at one point, and the guy who the footage I originally saw, which was in black and white, suggested she was concerned because his eyes were melting, but maybe that's happening. You have to judge for yourself. Again, there's constantly this black thing under his eyes. Yeah, were they overlaying images onto people even back then in the 70s? I mean, look at this kid's eyes. Something looks very off about them as well. Let's see. Almost demonically possessed or something. Oh, I cannot do screen grabs when it's in full screen for some reason. One's looking down this way, one's looking up that way by the look of it. Creepy stuff. And then some, I don't know what that red orb was. I don't know if that was just a reflection hitting off of something. Let's go back just a second. Once you can... There. Some... does... And here Elvis's eyes actually look like they're... Who knows? Who knows? It almost looks cartoonish. And that the piece of cartoon... I mean, don't forget, the likes of Elvis would have had tons of doubles, tons of stand-ins. Look, almost looks like the eye is there. And here. And they just do not line up. I mean, assuming this is an original piece of footage and someone hasn't messed around with it afterwards. I don't know. But yeah, something a bit suspect about Elvis in this one. Again, look at the child's eyes here. As I've said in the past, no matter how poor video quality you might get, I mean how poor a video camera may record at, it shouldn't be causing problems like this. It should not be causing a person's eye to appear on top of their head, looking that way. I don't know. It is peculiar, is all I can say. We're not going to spend too much time on Elvis and his melting eyes. Jeff says it's the eye of the hour. I'm a few minutes behind. And Mudlight says his face looks like a latex mask and that's a wig. Exactly. That is actually how it looks. You're absolutely right. However, it does look like the mask has slipped down, or it just isn't pressed up against the face enough. That, yeah, I wouldn't be at all surprised to hear. I mean, the way the kid looks at him, in a minute we'll see they start trying to block the camera and stuff. Like, let's watch it. I mean, there, it actually looks okay. They've got him lined up fairly well. He's got these black, don't know if they're blocks or bags under his eye. Is it After Effects? Have they done this video recording? Perhaps this kid stood there with someone that looks nothing like Elvis, but then how would she know what he looks like, I guess? Once you see someone in person, and they've just tried to make it look better with animation.
Good luck to you, Elvis.
No. And at this point, they start dabbing down his eyes. Again, suggesting that, I don't know, perhaps makeup had ran off of his eyeliner, who knows. But they constantly start messing with his face at this point, and eventually they cover him over and take him off. Why they spend so much time filming him being dabbed over, I guess they're just trying to get as much camera time as they can. So yeah, this would lead me to question, now as I say, identifying a liar. Let's say this is a lookalike, because believe me, many celebrities, you know, a lot less famous than Elvis Presley, have stand-ins, and will have lookalikes. So, you know, you can, if you look enough like a celebrity, or even a little bit like a celebrity, they can change you over enough to, they could present you as that person. There are agencies that specialise in such a thing, and they turn up for the filming of adverts, for example. When you see David Beckham on an advert shaving, not really David Beckham or Ronaldo or whichever one of these people it's meant to be, 99.9% of the times it will be a stand-in. And again, that is why image rights are so important. If a company own like Elvis Presley's image rights, it means, well, we can present Elvis anytime we want. We don't need one particular person. So long as, yeah, we've got the right to claim, yeah, you know what I'm saying. Well, I hope you do. We're going to move on from this. So, on that note, on the subject of tonight's video is identifying liars. Would that mean the guy who just dressed up as Elvis, as requested by his management, and told, look, we're just going to film a little bit where you receive a couple of awards, just go on, say thank you, and yeah, that's your job. Does that make this guy a liar? Just because his management, or whoever owns the, whoever was filming this, they pass it off as real? Does that make the stand-in, if that's what it is? I mean, it's not like we hear him sing or anything. We don't hear him belting out a famous Elvis Presley song, so could be anyone. Maria says he wore black eyeliner. Well, we've certainly got... We'll try and get a close-up of Elvis Presley. If I can find an image of him with black eyeliner, I'll say fair play. Let's just first do Elvis Presley, because I'm sure there'll be... I mean, obviously, these people do have all sorts of makeup on constantly. I don't doubt he is kind of made up here. I'm sure they've put all sorts of yeah, let's see. So yeah, I guess Elvis Presley wearing makeup, or anyone going on before a camera will wear makeup, is either pretty tired or he has got eyeliner on in that, I would say. Jeff says he doesn't look like he's going to die of too many burgers, and the fella posing as Paul McCartney is a liar. Yeah, of course. I mean, how much does it kind of cement a celebrity's legacy once you kill him off, as it were? By the way, is it just me, or are we seeing some unusual ears? Let's see. Elvis Presley ears. I'm guessing, I don't know. Does that look odd? Who knows? You'd have to be the judge of that. this guy, I don't know who this is. Oh, that is Elvis Presley. I was going to say the ears looked a bit odd in that image, but who knows. Well, yeah, we will. Yeah, okay, so we've. Let's see. Maria is identifying a liar. She's saying the guy now playing Paul McCartney. Let's have a look at Paul then. I guess this is. I mean, when possibly were they switched? Bearing in mind that they probably could have had a few. You know, how difficult is it to dress people up in a particular wig, so long as they've got a. Yeah, what I'm suggesting. Right, okay, we'll now see a more recent one of the guy. Let's see. Yeah, it seriously wouldn't surprise me if... Hang on. We had two very similar poses there. And this one. Okay. Oh, they're tiny little thumbnails, so not the best shot, I'm guessing. They've definitely got a Paul look going on, as in, yeah, tilt your head to the side. Yeah, I'm sure. But is it just Paul that would have been switched? Who knows? How old was John Lennon when he passed on? Obviously, the Beatles, completely part of the script. As many people absolutely idolised and worshipped these people. Look at this. How many admiring fans. I mean, I'm sure not all of them treat this guy like he's some sort of, well, yeah, idol. There's many of them out there. We were mentioning, yeah, I mean, that is a, I don't know, something a bit off about that face, but then, hey, people might say the same about my face, so I won't. Right, this is, I'm not sure what year that would have been, 60s, Paul McCartney. And this is, hang on, this is, I don't know, 20 years ago, Paul McCartney maybe. I'll just try and zoom him in. One and the same, who's to say? He actually, I don't know, I just saw a bit of Boy George in him there. He actually had his features suddenly looked very similar to Boy George. Seems to have a particularly high up forehead as well, but hey ho, perhaps that's his thing. Oh, Midnight says Fool, as in Paul, got John killed. Midnight 66, Billy Shears. And Maria says the real Paul is called John Halliday. Interesting. Okay, we'll have a look for that guy. He's right, Paul Halliday. I'm sure I've searched for Paul Halliday before. I believe someone certainly suggested this. What was his name? Sorry, John Halliday, was it? Or goodness me, I've forgotten already. My apologies. Oh no, William. Sorry, Billy Shears. I'm getting mixed up. Okay, so that seems to be the same guy. And what was the other name suggested for him? Someone Halliday, wasn't it? Goodness me. Oh, John Halliday, that was it. Wow, yes. Well spotted. That is a weird, crazy likeness. Could you rule out that this is just one of many actors who can and do play the role of Paul McCartney? I don't know, perhaps Paul did go off and tell himself he was gonna eke out a career in... I'm sorry, he was going to turn his back on his career and go off and live with someone else, but yeah, a definite likeness. Who was this other one? Billy Shears or something? We kind of skipped over that one. Let me try and... Wow, yeah, that is a incredible likeness. That, whoever that is anyway. Assuming that isn't Paul McCartney. Okay, this is another YouTube video about the guy. Okay, Billy Shears. Right. I guess if I just... The story of Billy Shears. Yeah, first time I've heard this name. It was 50... Hang on. We know when Billy Shears first appeared on the scene. It was the 1st June '67, the day on which the Beatles released their much anticipated master album. Billy's name is there at the end of the very first song. Okay, so it's a line in the song. The one and only Billy Shears. Although the album was based on an adopted identity of the Beatles, gotcha. And Ringo Starr masqueraded as Billy Shears. Okay, so it was some sort of pseudonym that one of them used, or perhaps the real name, who knows. Let's see, even when they're injured, it almost... He's still doing that same Paul McCartney look to the side. It's almost as if that's an agreed stance. Any time you take a picture of Paul McCartney, he's got to be looking off to one side. And as insane as that may possibly sound, I do think yeah, as I say, when lookalikes and people that work for companies as a lookalike of another celebrity, they will have particular poses that they pull, which is just how everyone knows. Like Beckham, for example, they drop an eyelid. They drop their eyebrow and arch the other, and that's the David Beckham look. The Paul McCartney look appears to be glancing off wistfully to the to what would be his left. Right, that's a pretty in-depth story. If anyone wants to research Billy Shears a bit more in detail, or if anyone else wants to let us know about him, please do. This could be something we could return to in a future episode. I want to say hello to AJ. It's not Sunday. No, I do 2 streams a week now. I do a Sunday, which is 10 PM, and at the moment I'm doing one on a Thursday. Ideally, I guess I would like to do one I'd like to do one early in the morning, so I've got an early in the morning one, say on a Monday or Tuesday, and then an earlier evening, like this one was meant to start at 9. I know it's not particularly early, but and then Sunday is 10 o'clock. So yeah, you get 2 streams a week now, and I usually manage to upload at least 1 video in the week to my other channel. Maria says the National Trust said he was sacked for being an alcoholic, and John Halliday was the custodian of Paul's childhood home. He was sacked because people said it was Paul. Gotcha. Yeah, that does ring a bell, actually. I wonder if we've covered this before. I'm pretty sure we've seen Paul Halliday, was it? Sorry, my memory's terrible. Yeah, we've seen Paul Halliday interviewed. Let's have another look for that one. No, not Paul Halliday. I'm all over the place. John Halliday. John Custodian. Let's see if that gets us any results. Yes, I'm certain we have certainly covered this one before. Ex-Beatle Paul McCartney's house custodian claims he was unfairly dismissed over medical problems. I do remember we heard him interviewed. Mr. Halliday, 62, said he was absolutely distraught after being... You're not getting audio from that, surely. After being fired from his job 3 weeks ago and losing an appeal. He said he was sacked for alleged gross misconduct after the trust received complaints about his coughing, shaking hands, and the smell of alcohol on his breath. Was this around the time of Bullshit 19 by any chance? Oh no, May 2013. I just wondered why shaking hands would be considered something worthy of complaining about. Oh, he was a tour guide, I gotcha. I would never drink on duty. He said shaking hand... trembling hands, I gotcha. I thought they meant as in people complained he kept trying to shake hands with him or something. Although he was out at the time, he said it left him scared. Okay. He was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress after a break-in. Interesting. I wonder if you can still go round and look at Paul McCartney's house. I guess you probably can. Yeah, all these big name celebs have, once they pass on, yeah, they have almost like, what would you call it? Pilgrimage? Not, like shrines or places dedicated to the memory of celebrities, such as the Neverland Ranch. Oh, am I getting connection problems? Hopefully not. And AJ says the story is not real. Paul never died. I wouldn't, personally, my thoughts and opinions on it is that, like many of big name musicians that make it to the top, most of them are just a series of actors, and not all of them obviously, but as I said, once a company owns your image rights, let's say if you and a group of mates start up a band and they get really successful and a record company signs you or says, yeah, you know what, we like what you got going on, we like your look, we'll sign you, just sign over your image rights to us please. Well, once a group of performers do that, they're allowing whoever owns that copyright to replicate them as much and as much as they need to. So you might start out as whatever position you have in that band, but once you sign it over to a big group and they might say, okay, we don't like this look, you guys all wearing ripped jeans for example, we think you should all come out wearing smart suits. What are you talking about? We're not going to do that. Don't worry, we'll find 4 musicians probably better than you are anyway, and they'll do it for you. Take care, goodbye, and so long as, once you sign over your image rights, I imagine it's a slippery slope, a bit like selling your soul, I guess you could say. Okay, AJ says, I believe it was made up to sell their new album. And Maria says, whether he's the real Paul or not, he looks more like Paul than the copper-haired foul impersonation. Yes, this guy definitely looks like an impersonator, I would say. Let's have a look just what happens if we look for Paul McCartney lookalike. The reason some are convincing Paul Let's see. I mean, whoever these people are, they've totally got, like, the look, as it were. It is just a hairstyle and a series of wigs, as it were. Yeah, all they need to do is just slightly reshape any nose, mouth. Make sure he's looking off to one side, as Paul always does. As I said, it's his signature look. You want to convince people you're Paul McCartney for this photo. You know, not necessarily doing an interview, but we just need to take a picture of you looking like Paul. Give you a big wig, and that's what this guy here has blatantly got on, a wig. And make sure you do, you know, we're going to colour your eyebrows in for you. Actually, going back to that Elvis Presley video, at one point, that is what it looks like. Elvis Presley's eyebrows have literally slipped off. I'm not sure if we'll find that. Let's see. Yeah, I zoomed in on one of them earlier, and these black marks kind of look like an eyebrow just hanging off of him, or who knows what it is. And that's where they try and reattach it, and all of a sudden, yeah, they've stuck it back on the head, but it does look like things are starting to come loose there. Yeah, here, when I zoomed in on it, although the image quality is not great, you can just about sort of make out. So yeah, colouring in eyebrows. I mean, here it kind of looks like the eyebrow that should be up here has fallen off down here. Who knows? See what I mean? Could that just be part of the eyebrow that should be going up round here? Right. Okay, so there we go. Paul looking off to the side once again. That's just how they do him. I imagine there he is doing it again, looking off to the side. Why would they do such a thing? Well, one thing I've noticed, I did a playlist, or I started a playlist. It was going to be a series of videos called Act Short, about actors looking the same as each other on the soaps, and trying to match up two people who I thought looked the same. For example, trying to find an image where they're either both staring in the same direction, or they both got their mouths, say, open or closed. Nigh on impossible. Who knows? Right. We will have a look at, let's have a look at Ringo Starr. Just for a minute. We are going to get onto the subject of liars, by the way. Again, fake nose much? You want to make someone look like Ringo Starr? Just put a false nose on them. That's all you got to do. It may... Hang on. This one here. Yeah, cover the eyes. Put glasses on them. We don't have to worry about CGI or messing with the eyes. Big flappy fake ears. I'm sorry if anyone's, you know, a big fan of this guy. I mean, that doesn't actually look like the real thing to me. when I say the real thing, I mean what I would expect him to look like. This does look like a impersonator, but so long as the people presenting this as Ringo Starr own the image rights, they can do as they wish. Yes, apologies to any Ringo Starr fans, but these earlobes, come on. The nose, we all know what. Yeah, a fake beard, pair of sunglasses, brilliant. And yeah, the hair obviously you'd have to sort out, but the teeth that come down way too much. Typical celebrity look. Last one, who else? John Lennon, obviously. Anything. Again, pair of sunglasses, that way you don't have to worry about that part of them. Yeah, wig, beard, glasses, check. We got everything. Oh, and a very bushy set of eyebrows that we'll colour in for you. So yeah, multiple people could play the role of John Lennon. For example, let's say someone was staying at a hotel, and one of the people that play as John Lennon, or the real John Lennon, goes to gets shot outside a hotel or whatever happened to this guy. Those teeth don't look real, by the way. I just have to bring that to everyone's attention. Again, they're too low down. It's like it's not like he's stretching his mouth back that much. How should we really be able to see the very tops of his gums? I don't know. That doesn't look right to me. But then very few things do look right to me these days. Yeah, let's say the guy got shot. They could just carry on. Personally, am I a Beatles fan? I do like some of their music, actually, but again, some people are absolutely mad about them. They were maybe they didn't bring out any music but they weren't around in the time I was they were around before I was born, basically, is what I'm struggling to say. Well, we've got 10 minutes left of our Bobzee hour, and we are yet to identify liars. So there were two people I recently called out as liars. By the way, I'm going to leave a link to this video if anyone wants to see it for themselves. It will also be in the description. Let me just find the live chat. Oh. Elvis video. Right. Yeah, as I say, there was two people I called out as liars: Jake Crickenden, Ashley Kane. I talk about him tons. And what else did I call them liars? Okay. Another one, for example, where was this one I saw? Again, going on to the subject of refugees. Is Rachel Riley lying now? In fact, does it even look like Rachel? If you're not familiar with Rachel Riley, she's a presenter on... she's not a presenter. She's the mathematician, the maths wizard on Countdown, which is a quiz show here in the UK. She loves refugees so much, apparently. Is she being truthful? We'll see if there's much about her, anything I would pick out and to say this woman's not being honest. I've not seen this video yet, so You'll have to... Yeah, you're watching it with me, as it were. Right, we'll go full screen. No.
And in your life, obviously, you've...
Yeah, apologies. This is BBC News, which is the biggest load of rubbish going. As far as I'm concerned, most of the people, not all of them, a lot of the big names you see sat on this couch are liars. Would you say newsreaders, for example, are liars if they say something? Say if they report a story that turns out to be factually wrong and they have to retract it. Are they deliberately lying, or are they just reading their auto cue? And I think that's what it comes down to. Say a crisis actor, a terror attack, for example, and you've got someone like, we'll look at it after Rachel actually. Do anyone remember Peaky from I think that was his name, from the Grenfell Tower, and he claimed that he lived around that area. Alright, we'll watch him before we go and just see whether you would call him out as a liar, or is he just reading his script. Okay, let's get back to Rachel. How long's this video? 1 minute 23.
saying you've got a family of Ukrainians living with you. Who are the people that you want to say thank you to? Who?
Already this woman looks like she's laughing at the very thought of what's being said. She kind of suppressed a laugh there.
Who are the people that you want to say thank
See,
you to?
she had
Who
to
else
stop herself from bursting out laughing.
helps you?
Well, I mean, I'd say thank you to them. I mean, we can't leave a carrot or a beetroot unattended without coming back and there's a pot of borscht made.
Wow.
And we've got 2 little girls.
Now this, I don't know if you noticed, isn't even, and we'll give her a chance. As I said, I've not watched this video before, but she asked, who are the people you're trying to, is that right? Let's just listen to the question again.
In your life, obviously, saying you've got a family of Ukrainians living with you.
Just squeeze that little bit in there.
Who are the people that you want to say thank you to?
Who does she want to say thank you to? That's the question. Who are you thanking?
Who else helps you?
Well, I mean, I'd say thank you to them. I mean, we can't leave a carrot or a beetroot unattended without...
No one asked you about carrots or beetroots? Direct question. She did say something about, I want to say thank you to them, but felt the need to detract the question. So, yeah, if you're ever asking a person, for example, you didn't see that, I don't know, someone nabbed me sandwich out of the cupboard, for example. You haven't seen my sandwich, have you? And if they then take it on, rather than answering the question about your sandwich, they go on about, they try and tell you about the security in your kitchen. You should, it's like, I didn't ask you about how safely I kept my sandwich. I asked if you had it.
Without coming back, and there's a pot of borscht made.
Wow.
And we've got 2 little girls at home, and they've got their little boy living with us, and it's just kind of, it feels like a communal effort. So
That's a very long-winded way of answering. Who do you want to thank?
they do so much to help out, whether it's making borscht or looking after the kids, and they don't need to, and they've got a lot on their plate. So we definitely want to say thank you, Sasha, Luba, Galia, and Makita. We love them.
You've done it. You don't have to wait till July.
If only they spoke English, but we're working on it. Makita got her.
So she wants to thank the Ukrainian refugees for coming to live with her, by all accounts. Perhaps because they're supposed... I doubt very much this person lives with 4 Ukrainian refugees. I'm just putting it out there. They may even send cameras round to her supposed house. Didn't this person supposedly, has given birth as well, which, again, I find questionable, but...
Here in September, not a word of English, and he's really coming on. It's gorgeous.
And how's it been going? I mean, we've spoken to families on Breakfast over the last few months, over the last year, who've hosted, and it's complicated and can be challenging, but rewarding.
It's so rewarding, and it's working for us.
Of course, people would suggest glancing. Is she glancing at a script? Who knows? Anything about this bit? He's asked whether it's challenging. Let's see how she answers that question.
It's so rewarding, and it's working for us. I mean, our little girls...
She actually shook her head there. They call them micro expressions. If you're saying yes, but your body language, your head saying something completely different, she nods her head very quickly.
I mean, our...
I don't know if you caught that. She just back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, our little girls absolutely love having this little boy. It's like they've got an extra brother, and he's got little sisters that he looks after. You know, he's like an extension of his mother and auntie looking after them, and he's had to, you know, grow up before his years. He's just turned 8 years old.
Another way of calling out a liar is when you... now, I know she's just trying to be camera-friendly or TV-friendly, as it were. But when you over-exaggerate your answers, for example, you feel the need to give too much information. Of course, this is probably, they call it News 24, BBC 24, where they've got to literally fill 24 hours of news. So yeah, they want this person talking as long as possible.
And he's really, you know, a young little man because it's been forced upon him. But it's just a brilliant thing to be able to do. And we're just getting on like one big family.
One talked family. I think she said one big family. Again, micro expressions. I don't know if that video still exists. I did put one up years ago of okay, it was the brother of the Dangerous Woman tour. What was her name? Who took part at the Manchester Arena when it supposedly had their issues with Salman Abedi when he came and plugged in a pressure cooker full of screws, nuts and bolts in the... And yeah, not Gwen Stefani, I can't even remember that. If I put Dangerous Woman, her brother, supposed brother, there we go, Ariana Grande brother. He was interviewed on here we go. This was, again, here is someone lying. Is it someone lying, or is it someone just presenting themselves to the cameras and doing what they're told? Let's listen to Frankie Grande.
And have you, or has Ariana, kept in touch with some of the survivors?
Okay, if you're not familiar with the survivors, that's the people that were at the Ariana Grande concert back in 2017 when Salman did his dastardly deed. Big smile in response to that question. Yeah, this guy is apparently, look at the headline. He was meant to be... Here we go. Ariana Grande's brother Frankie gets emotional during an interview on the Manchester bombing. So the subject of this video is the bombing. Nothing to do with his career, nothing to do with Ariana's career. So let's keep that subject way off of the table. Let's see how long that lasts.
My goodness. Oh, I'm getting so emotional.
Again, he was directly asked, do you want Ariana keep in touch with any of the survivors? What you on about? You're getting so emotional. Look how emotional this guy gets.
I mean,
Whoa.
Obviously, you know, with the world of social media, we can always see them and keep in touch. So, whew,
that's as emotional as he's going to get. That big exhale, along with a whooping sound, is as emotional as this wig-wearing, tiny-featured man, I say man in inverted commas, minus an Adam's apple, is going to get.
I think that is something that
Look at those ears, by the way, anyway.
We'll always do. Yeah.
One of the exciting things, Frankie, is that your tour...
What are they going to talk about? Bear in mind, the subject of this interview is... It's on the Manchester bombing. That's what we're here to talk about.
Always do. Yeah.
One of the exciting things...
And there we go, micro expressions, remember? The question was, have you kept in touch with anyone? And look at this guy's head.
Whew, I think that is something that we will always
do.
Yeah.
Nod, shake your head.
One of the exciting...
Nope. Even rolls his eyes in disdain at the thought that any of these people will stay in touch with some petty survivor.
Things, Frankie, is that your tour, which you had to delay...
That's what we're here to talk about. Who cares about supposed survivors? Frankie knows full well there's nothing to get emotional except that those who thought this was remotely real. This is what we're here to talk about.
You're finally going to get to bring to the UK, living La Vida Grande, your big
Oh,
show.
he even mentioned it. He even gave the title of the show. I wonder if they'll slip the dates in somehow. Bear in mind, this interview's nothing to do with Frankie. It's supposed to be talking about the victims. Who knows?
So, tell us what the fans are going to be able to enjoy.
Well,
Quick, we know we invited you here to talk about the bombing, but please tell us about your new tour.
super excited because
I bet you
I'm
are.
going to come back and I get to see all of you guys and I get to hug you and I get to, be with, everyone who comes to the show, which is wonderful. You know, Celebrity Big Brother was such a whirlwind for...
That's it, Celebrity Big Brother. That's about what you can expect from these sorts of people. So, again, look for expressions, look for them trying to detract away from the original question asked.
Me. But I fell in love with the UK and I fell in love with all of you. And, seeing your resilience as a people is just so incredible. So I'm so excited to bring my show there, but also to share in some of the excitement that you all have.
Right, we're not going to watch all that video, but again, I'm sure, yeah, I've covered this guy before. Right, Grenfell Tower, I want to say witness. I don't think he was actually a witness. PK, or PK was called. They would have you believe he was a hard up rapper. Where is he? Actually, there's some absolute let's see this guy describing horrific scenes.
The charred skeleton still smoulders. Those people who are just minutes away from tragedy relive what they went through.
I heard a woman's voice going, "It's getting
Alright, let's play it. He looks like he's already smiling.
bigger, it's getting bigger." So I ran to the front door, looked through the spy hole and there's smoke everywhere.
Michael escaped from the 7th floor with his girlfriend and her 5-year-old daughter.
So I've grabbed the little girl, swept her out of her bed. She don't know what's happening. I put her in my arms. I put the thing over her head, my dressing gown. Then I've gone into Mum's room. Mum, wake up, wake up. We got.
A minute ago he was talking like a Cockney. Now I don't know what that accent was. He's forgotten that he was a Cockney geezer a minute ago, and he's changed his accent.
I get out the fire. She's all like, "What's going on? What's going on?"
What was going through your mind when you were coming down those stairs? You couldn't...
Get out, get out, get out. And don't fall, because I've got the kid in my arms. And I think if I fall, people are coming up behind me.
And were there any safety procedures? Did you...
This isn't actually the one I'm looking for. There's a couple. I know we've slightly gone over the hour. We will be wrapping up soon. I just want to show a couple of interviews by PK. Oh, what was the guy called? Right. I think he was called PK or something like that. And, oh, shame I cannot find that particular interview. There's the guy about babies being thrown out of windows. Baby, let's see what comes up for this. They might have removed it now because here we go. I think this is the one.
There is no lift in this situation. There's only the stairs. The stairs.
He's constantly looking down. Is that because he's feeling very depressed? Or is he reading every word of a script?
It's smoke, it's dark, it's scary, it's trip hazard, there's fall hazard, there's all sorts, there's elderly, there's children, there's disabled people.
All this stuff he's saying, what are the chances Grenfell was an abandoned building? Who knows? I don't know. I didn't live in London. I don't live in London, but anyway.
It's all sorts of, there's luggages in the stairwell.
People even, they were so full of people that they had to leave their, look at that front tooth. Look real to you? It doesn't to me. Looks like a, oh, that's annoying. Yeah, again, very low teeth, but whatever, that's one for another day.
Even some of the stairwell, some lights were not working, so it was so dark in there.
I'm sure he just started laughing there. We'll see if he can keep it together.
It's incredible. It's just it's incredible we survived. So many people were left inside. We had so many relatives and families and friends that called and said, we are still trapped in. Let the fire services know that we are still here. We are trapped. This kid that called and said he was trapped in his room. So it's a very horrible situation. It's lives have been lost. I can't confirm lives have been lost. There has been fatalities.
Why are we getting about fatalities from this guy? Who is he? Does he know? Would you take the information from this guy? Anyway, we haven't even, again, going back to giving too much information away, we haven't even heard him be asked a question yet. Has this man who was escaped this burning building, did he just find a news reporter and suddenly start spilling his guts, and they were like, look, can you just hold on, we know you're desperate to talk? I mean, he doesn't even pause for breath, barely. It's almost like he just wants to get his lines out the way.
Of some of our friends, some of our family, some of our loved ones, our neighbours.
I'm really sorry.
It's heartaching. It really is. You just don't know. Right now, we can only offer prayers.
Praise after what you've just been through, okay?
We can only offer support to the people who've lost loved ones. We can only pray for those who have passed away. We can only praise the fire services for their efforts. We can only praise the emergency services for their efforts in trying to make some sort of sense and save as many people as they can. This was really horrific. There's people who were jumping out of the plane. There's a man who threw 2 of his children.
So you cannot say this next bit without bursting into tears. Bursting out laughing, sorry. There's no tears here.
Of sense and save as many people as they can. This was really horrific. There's people who were jumping out of the plane. There's a man who threw 2 of his children.
And he knows it's a joke. What he's reading, 1, he didn't experience any of it, and 2, is ridiculous. Yeah, absolutely no tears anywhere, by the way. Yeah, that was we could watch. Anyway, does that make that guy a liar? He was I mean, you might say to me he looked absolutely devastated and like he was and like he wasn't at all just reading off a script. That's for you to decide. That is pretty much where we're gonna leave it. But before we do, I'm going to thank Maria Ellender, AJ, CC Jelly, Angela Tate, Jeff Gashead, Midnight Scribbler, Maria Ellender for taking the time to leave a comment in the live chat. If I've missed anyone, Mudlark Digging Up the Thames, of course. Let's see, anyone else that I've not spotted? Yeah, thanks all of you for taking the time to tune in to the Bobzee Hour. We will be back Sunday with another live stream. I'll be starting at 10 PM GMT. Hopefully that's not too late. The next Bobzee Hour, I do hope to maybe start a bit earlier. And as I said, I might try and do a early morning one at some point, or a lot earlier in the day, if that's better for anyone to tune in for. Before we go, I would like to just take this opportunity to thank Linda Max, Skeptic936, Nathan Oakley and Midnight Scribbler for their support and support to the channel. Thanks ever so much. By the way, if anyone wants to check out my Patreon, you're most welcome to do that. There's a link in the description and on the screen at the moment. Another wonderful way you can offer your support is just by hitting the thumbs up button before you leave. If you like tonight's content, sorry I haven't spent too much time looking at the chat, but AJ points out he's trying to avoid laughing. Of course he is. But again, is someone reading a script, someone just coming in doing their job? Does that make them a liar? Does a newsreader who knows full well every night he comes out and reads stuff that is not true, has all just been cooked up, well, probably not just cooked up, was probably planned years in advance. Does that make him a liar? That is for you to choose. Hopefully I've helped you identify there's plenty of other ways. It could be something we look at again in a future episode, the body language we get. Thing is, I'm too easily distracted. So for example, I'll plan to do a live stream looking at spotting a liar, and I end up getting caught up looking at people like Elvis Presley, where their face appears to be falling apart, or Paul McCartney and whatnot. So yeah, thanks for sticking with me to watch that. By the way, 10 points to anyone who knows whose image this is on the screen. It wasn't, I don't know. It was somebody who was supposedly lying, if any of their words could be believed. I see Maria Ellender saying good night. Don't blame you, as it is gone. I've overrun this week. I know my last Bobzee hour was a bit short, so yeah, this is the 10 minutes I owed you for that. Oh, and CC says Grenfell, one of the best hoaxes ever. One thing I will say about that, it was absolutely massive. I mean, we had another flat burned down like a couple of weeks back, I'm sure we did, and it didn't get 1/10 of the coverage. I mean, it got covered at the time, but forgotten about the next day, because we were talking about Gary Lineker and refugees. So, yeah. But the deception that gets pulled off on mainstream media is something we will not stop covering. Come back Sunday and we can pick up where we left off. Yeah, thanks to everyone who took the time to tune in, especially those that are in the live chat. Marie, oh yeah, I've read you all out. And yeah, thanks ever so much for joining us. I will be back Sunday, 10 p.m. If anyone's got any subjects they think worthy of our attention, we'll look at it together. That's the only way I can watch. It's the only way I can check out the mainstream is with your company. So thanks ever so much for joining me this evening. And I will, I'll catch you all then. Okay. Have a great weekend. Observe the Sabbath day, and I will see you Sunday. Right, take care. Good night.